Welcome to the Caps Locks and Chair Shots podcast with your host, Ed Rakeen.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever and wherever you may be listening to us, you have your ears locked into the Caps Locks and Chair Shots podcast. My name is Ed Rakeen. I'm your host for these festivities. And joining me, as always, he is the muscle of the podcast, future MMA champion, and voice of all of Southeast Asia. He is the one, the only, the Jaime.
What's up, wrestling fans? Your Filipino homie ready to talk about wrestling.
And instead of my tag team partner, my arch nemesis, my very best friend, you know him from all around the internet, but you can only find his wrestling stuff right here. Instead of Dan joining us, we have a special guest host, a good friend of mine, and former host of, what was the name of your podcast?
UK Fave to Care.
That is Adam Taylor. Say hello, Adam.
How we doing, guys? I am ready to talk about some wrestling, man. I am a huge fan. Let's get to it.
All right, guys. We have a lot to cover today. We're once again going to forego our usual fantasy talk, and instead, let's go with some current events. So, without much further ado, Jaime, let me hear your one big thing this week.
Just when I thought Daniel Bryan's career is out, they pulled him back in.
We're going to talk heavily about that. Adam, one big thing. Let's hear it.
Brock Lesnar is champion again. Why?
Oh, we're going to talk about that too. My one big thing is actually two big things, and those are the eyes of Becky Lynch. Wow, did she get messed up. And you know what? Why don't we start there? Monday Night Raw. Let's kind of talk about what's going to happen on Sunday. We finally have our Survivor Series team set. Jaime, I know we went over this before. Let's talk about the tag teams first. We were very, very wrong. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, the Revival, the B Team, the Lucha House Party, and the Ascension. What do we call Bobby Roode and Chad Gable? Are they like the Glorious Joke? Is that fair?
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Bobby Roode's, it's hard to take him seriously now with this shtick with Chad Gable.
That is very true. Adam, what are your thoughts?
I honestly think Bobby Roode, he could be a top 5 talent in the WWE. He's just kind of swimming along, and he's not really doing anything. They don't have a storyline just built up for him. If they want to put him in the spotlight, put him in the spotlight. But with Chad Gable, I like Gable too. He's a great wrestler, but does he connect with the fans really? Do we care about him? No. And that's kind of what happens with two characters like this that they don't have anything with for either of them. Let's just put them in a tag team. Hopefully they pan out. That's what I see. That's what I see in them. I don't see them going any farther than that. Maybe they get a tag team run, but that's it. That's all I see from them.
Speaking of two characters that they really didn't have anything for, so they just kind of threw them together, the B Team. They were former Raw Tag Team Champions when the titles meant pretty close to nothing, but it seems like the Team Raw is just a bunch of tag teams that nobody cares about anymore.
That we don't care about. We don't care about at all. Any of them. I totally agree with that.
I agree. Even the Revival. I'm one of the biggest Revival fans, but I haven't seen them that much as of late. That's why it's really hard to care for them.
Now, is it because we haven't seen the Revival? Is that because of the Bullet Club and Cody Rhodes telling us how we should feel about the Revival?
No, because they're not booked for something serious.
Jaime, you missed the joke.
I guess I missed it too, because I was gonna say no, because
Adam got away with it.
Why would any normal WWE fan care about what Cody's doing? Like, Cody's a big deal to us, but to a normal average WWE fan, who's Cody?
Oh, Adam, I wish you would have listened to us a year ago when I was getting lambasted for giving the exact same take.
Really?
Oh,
That's funny. And I just want to make sure that everybody knows Like, we did not go over anything before this. I did not talk to them about wrestling at all. This is all top of the dome, what I'm thinking right now. And I have some hot takes, and they're going to be this way the whole time. So that's funny. I didn't know that.
Well, since you brought up that phrase, the original name for this show back before Jaime and Dan even was attached was going to be Hot Takes and Hot Cakes. And I'm so glad we didn't do it. Jaime, you're our resident 205 Live guy. Lince Dorado, Kalisto, and Grand Metalik. Why should we care other than the fact they wear flashy masks?
Well, because they're basically going to be the entertainment of this thing. Imagine how many bodies are going to be in the ring come Survivor Series, and you know that you know which bodies are going to fly a lot.
Well, yeah,
Can I say something about that, Ed?
Sure.
I find like Grand Metalik and Kalisto, they are the 1996 Cruiserweight division in WCW. That is what they're there. They are there for the car wrecks. I'm a huge historian of wrestling, so I go back a little bit, and that's what I see in them. They pump the crowd out. They just get them going, but the fans aren't truly invested in their storylines per se. They are just getting that crowd going, and that's why they are in the pre-show.
Well, yeah, and you look at the two teams and what they're made up from. I mean, we already talked about Team Raw, but you look at the sheer talent of Team SmackDown. You have the Usos, who have been widely considered as one of the greatest tag teams in the last, let's say, decade. You have the New Day, who is the other team in that conversation. You have Sanity, who is probably the most intriguing tag team that we haven't seen a lot of if you don't watch NXT. You got Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, the Good Brothers, and there's always that Bullet Club association with them that, hey, maybe we're going to see somebody else join them and we're actually going to get a full-fledged Bullet Club. And then you got the Colognes, who are probably two of the most athletic and veteran guys there is. And they're missing Carlito, which is a huge miss, but still, SmackDown should roll Raw on this, right?
Lineup-wise, yeah. I agree. Because, like, Jimmy and Jey Uso, they're still relevant. Sanity, they're just waiting for their break. The Colognes are talented. Gallows and Anderson are, yeah, you said it, Bullet Club.
Okay. Adam?
I mean, there's a reason it's on the pre-show, is all I'm saying. If they want this to be one of the big four pay-per-views, what does WWE do when they have a big four pay-per-view? They try to get everybody on the card. And this is trying to get everybody on the card. And you know what? I'm really not hating on these tag teams. The Usos, they're legit. New Day, they're so entertaining. Sanity, they're not. To us, like I'm saying, we are huge fans. We love them. We've seen them in NXT. To the normal WWE fan, why should they be invested yet? And that goes kind of for Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, who are just so poorly used. We all know how good they can be. And the Colognes, when was the last time we even thought of them?
That's true.
But I am still saying SmackDown should go over if we're just looking at talent, unless they want to push the Bobby Roode, Chad Gable angle a little more.
If they do, they're dumb. And so, being that all three of us believe SmackDown's going to win, it's a slam dunk for Team Raw. So let's move on. We have the Raw Tag Team Champions, Akam and Razor, with Rockstar Spud, and against the Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro with Captain Insano. So Raw should win this one, right? I mean, AOP is one of the hardest things being pushed right now. Sheamus and Cesaro are, if there was ever a definition of B+ players, these two guys got to be it. And the Big Show has been the most underutilized 20-year veteran in wrestling history. AOP wins this, right?
They win this. But it's going to be a fight. Don't get me wrong here. It's not going to be a squash.
Okay. Adam.
I would agree. I think AOP needs to get pushed. They are the younger talent. Sheamus and Cesaro, they are already established. If Sheamus and Cesaro lose, they don't lose anything. If they put AOP over and make them look good, they stand to gain something, and AOP gains a lot more as well. That's just my fantasy booking, though. Like everything else in this show will be. It does not matter what I think; it's what they go with. But I think that they should go with AOP, and hopefully they'll think the same way as me.
Well,
oh, and one other thing, the Big Show, has he not gotten so good at? I couldn't tell you how many times he's turned heel or face over his however long career. He's gotten that smile now to where if he can smile and be a baby face, or he can kind of smile and smirk and be a heel, and it's like this exact same thing. I just find that to be funny.
The best Big Show angle I ever saw was when him and Stephanie McMahon had this thing. It was, I believe, right after the ECW brand washed out, and she basically was calling him by his real name and said, you know, he's a failure as a businessman and all this stuff. And then he just decimated everybody for her. It was the greatest, like, complete 180 turn in 30 minutes I've ever seen. Let's talk. Oh, it's fabulous. It's my favorite thing ever. Let's talk about something that's not my favorite thing ever that I really could give two craps about. Buddy Murphy, the Cruiserweight Champion, takes on Mustafa Ali. Adam.
I'll take it first.
Do you care?
The one Buddy Murphy match that I have honestly given any credit, and I think a lot of normal fans would think the same way, is the one in Australia. That was his one big, huge moment in the WWE. In the WWE, in the main stage, in my opinion. And Mustafa Ali just... Does everybody even have time to watch 205 Live? I think it's just such an overload all the time. It's so hard to get everything in, and I consider myself a huge fan. So, but I will say Mustafa Ali versus who was it again? It might have been actually Buddy Murphy. They had a no DQ match or something on 205 Live. I saw the highlights of it. It was insane. So it's going to be an entertaining match, obviously. But Buddy Murphy, he's entertaining. Easy.
Jaime, you're our 205 Live guy. Make me care about this.
Yeah, but Adam pretty much explained it. But as I mentioned during the last show, Mustafa Ali can go 10 years without winning the belt, and people will still be behind him because he's the typical underdog character. And Buddy Murphy's like one of the bigger guys on 205 Live, which it's going to be competitive. But I agree with Adam. Buddy Murphy is going to retain this.
Can I ask a question? Jaime,
Yeah.
what do you, who do you think is the most talented on 205 Live? Which wrestler?
It depends. Is it from a technical standpoint?
It's all around mic skills, persona, ring ability, the big ones.
Well, it's Drew Gulak for me.
Okay. I agree. He's the man. He's so funny. I agree.
Well, he was the one guy that I have always said would be me in professional wrestling, and we all know why. All right, let's go with another Survivor Series 5-on-5 match that I don't care about. We have Mickie James, Nia Jax, Tamina, Natalya, and Ruby Riott with Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan versus Team SmackDown with Carmella, Naomi, Sonya Deville, Asuka, and somebody who's got to replace Charlotte. I don't care about who wins. I don't care about this match at all. My question is, do we see a legend return to replace Charlotte?
I'm predicting an NXT call-up.
Oh, Jaime. Who you got in mind? Maybe the Pirate Princess?
That's exactly who I have in mind.
2 years, Jaime. We've been doing this. We're on the same page. Adam, what do you think?
Who did you think?
Kairi Sane.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, she's super talented. I love her. Her elbow drop is Shades of the Macho Man. When you just said this, I didn't even know it was TBA for that fifth person. Give me Trish. It just popped in my mind first thing. I figured she's been around It's like, oh, hey, who's been working that would get a pop? Oh, Trish Stratus. Let's get her in there for another match.
Now, I'm going to offer one different person. We saw her at Evolution. She was always synonymous with SmackDown. And she was my woman. How about a little Tori Wilson?
I'd be in. I'd be all. She is all the way live, as they say.
Oh, yeah. All right. Let's move on. Team Raw. Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, and Bobby Lashley with Baron Corbin and Lio Rush will take on Team SmackDown. The Miz, Shane McMahon, Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe, and Jeff Hardy. I don't know. And I really want to know. This is going to be an excellent match. Who is the final survivor? I want to say Dolph Ziggler. I could see Samoa Joe. Maybe even The Miz, but I think he gets pushed out early. Adam, who's the final survivor?
The final survivor, and it's simple. It's Braun Strowman. He will be pushed to the moon.
Okay.
And it's not even. There's not even another thought in my mind. He is going to be pushed to the moon.
I'll hold that thought. Jaime, who you got?
Well, history doesn't really favor the biggest guys in these types of matches. I'm going with Drew McIntyre.
God, I wish everybody could just see these faces right here.
Jaime, you can't read lips for crap. No. Adam, you're both wrong, and let me tell you why. Braun Strowman is going to get eliminated by Brock Lesnar to further that feud after this is over. Drew McIntyre is going to get eliminated by Dolph Ziggler to split that team up because that's a feud they want to see going further.
I'll let you finish.
I can see Bobby Lashley. Finn Balor's underutilized. He ain't going to get a push now. He never got a push anyway. He's too injured. He's gone. Jeff Hardy can't stay sober. Rey Mysterio's a part-time player. Shane McMahon's too old. The Miz is too much of a joke. Has to be Samoa Joe or Dolph Ziggler. And it's probably going to be Joe. I want to say Ziggler, but it's going to be Joe.
Joe's going down a little bit. There's peaks and valleys for every superstar. Joe just got his, and he didn't even get to the top. And he's going back down again, in my opinion. Now, what I was saying about Braun Strowman, I think that will be the catalyst of the plot line for the whole match. He is going to be the one pushed the whole time. But I'm not saying other storylines can't be progressed as well. This is one of those matches. I think this is one of those cards that stories aren't ending; they're beginning. They're starting these big story arcs for WrestleMania. And I think this match could be a huge catalyst for a couple of matches we see at Mania.
I want you to remember what you just said. We're going to come back to it later. Seth Rollins, the Intercontinental Champion, will take on Shinsuke Nakamura, a man we all forgot was the United States Champion. Jaime, we went over this last week. Has your opinion changed? Who wins?
I'm going with Nakamura on this one. He needs this win badly. Because Rollins, he can just lose and move on to feud with Ambrose. Because this is a one-time deal where Raw and SmackDown meet. The last time I think they're going to meet like Raw versus SmackDown for this year. And Nakamura really needs this to at least for people to remember him again.
Adam?
I wanna preface this with Seth Rollins is my favorite wrestler in the WWE. He's my favorite wrestler, active wrestler right now. He is number 2 all time on my list. Yes, I have a list. He is number 2 behind Stone Cold Steve Austin. I know, I am basic. And yes, Seth Rollins is already number 2. That is how much I love him. With that being said, Nakamura gets to win. But I do think Ambrose can screw Seth in some way. Seth can take the loss and not be hurt by it. Nakamura needs to win a lot more. I totally agree. Also, it's why wouldn't Dean mess this up for him? And then they can act like this match was a big deal between Seth and Nakamura, when it really wasn't. But they're like, oh, it's battle for supremacy. This really matters. And then they'll push that, and they'll have even more. There'll be more juice to that storyline, the Rollins and Ambrose storyline.
All right. We're going to skip the last two matches because they come in later on. Now, since you brought up Dean Ambrose there, Adam, he burned his Shield colors. It's officially over. You know, who knows when or if we're ever going to see Roman again. Dean just set fire to whatever. Are we all as excited as I think we are over this?
I mean, go for it, man.
I am, maybe, but I'm really thinking that this is officially over for the Shield. Like, the only way the Shield are going to reunite is when they are already all retired and they're coming back for a one-time deal for a nostalgia pop.
Oh, a la Evolution. Okay. And that's the, stable, not the pay-per-view. Adam, are you excited for this?
Am I excited for this? I am
Over the moon?
Very excited for this. And the reason being, I didn't think the Shield should have been put together, back together yet. I think they should have waited longer. These guys, and obviously we didn't know the situation with Roman Reigns, but these guys they were young, they were ready, they were top stars. Let it simmer, man. We want it, and we would just keep wanting it more. And it was a debacle last year. Nothing worked right. It was snake bit from the beginning. They tried to bring it back again this year in the summer months when not as many people are watching. They need more viewers. So let's bring the Shield back. And it's just
I got you.
I'm just it blows my mind. Why bring them back yet? But good, they did break up, and it is going to be the hottest feud until Mania.
Fair enough. One last thing before we kind of slam the book on Raw. Is Ronda Rousey consistently the best promo week in and week out? Not just on Raw, not just on SmackDown, but literally in all of wrestling. She's the best, right?
Ronda's not really known for her words, but I agree, yes, it is, because who writes her promos?
Yes, yeah, Dan broke that news last week. We got it, Jaime. You're beating a dead horse.
That's good stuff. I honestly think Becky would have better promos right now. I think she might be the hottest thing going for all of WWE, which is tough with what happened to her on SmackDown. And I'll let Ed take it from there.
Yeah, so before we get there, we have a thing that Dan always does. It's the hot girl of the show. So, Adam, since you're Dan this week, we're going to take a little bit of break. Let's talk about your hot girl of the show. Who you got?
Well, I tell you, her name is Alexa Bliss. I'll tell you the reason why. My girlfriend is really short and a real cute looking girl, and I always call her Alexa
Confirmed.
Bliss. So
Confirmed. That is true.
She's my favorite, man. She's my girl. She's really good looking.
Hey, maybe you're more Dan than what we expected, because Dan's answer is always either the Iconics or Alexa Bliss.
I would like to get to know the Iconics as well.
Yeah, you're gonna
on a personal level.
You're gonna have to fight him for it, because I'm pretty sure Dan's already had his tickets booked to Australia. All right, we all agree with you. Let's go on to SmackDown. And boy, what a SmackDown did we get. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that's not a dig on Nia Jax. Becky Lynch got she got messed up. My question is, did Nia Jax do it on purpose? Adam?
Absolutely not, man.
You don't think? You don't think maybe draft coming up, this comes back full circle that, Becky demands to be drafted to Raw to go after Nia, or vice versa?
I mean, they could use it in a storyline now, and that's cool, but it was a work, man. It's the other podcasts I listen to and things of that nature, I listen to Bruce Pritchard's podcast. I love it, and he just gets into it so much.
Hold on. before you go any further, you said the other podcasts you listen to, which means you listen to this one. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, we have one of the 5 people that listen to us right here on the show. Thank you so much. You're 20% of our listening audience. We're only going to get 4 listens this week. Fantastic. Anyway.
Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Appreciate it. We get what you're saying. Jaime, what do you think?
Naya has always been known to be a stiff worker, but if history indicates they are going to work this into an actual angle for a storyline. So it's either Becky demands to be drafted on Raw or, she continues invading Raw once she's healed.
Okay. Does maybe it's a conspiracy theorist in me. I still, believe that the Montreal Screwjob was all a work on us anyway. But
calm down, Dave Meltzer.
Hey, it was, and we all know it was, and if you don't, you're not a wrestling fan. Anyway, beside the point, that's a different show for a different time. I'm maybe thinking that Becky's not as hurt as what she thinks, because if all of these injuries are true, she's not going to be able to defend that title in 30 days, and we have the 30-day rule, right? It obviously doesn't apply to Brock Lesnar, but still, I don't think she's as hurt as what everybody says she is. Could just be me. I'm not.
Hey, you are living in kayfabe land, man. It is still real to you.
It is, damn it. Anyway, so somebody had to replace Becky, and she went through. Asuka would have been a great choice. The SmackDown roster is stacked. She went with the best choice in Charlotte, right?
I think it's a Mania-worthy match. She could have gone with somebody else first.
But
somebody to feed to Ronda.
Would it have made sense, though? I mean, would it have made sense to pick anybody but Charlotte? I mean, you have the best female wrestler in the world sitting right there for you to choose, and you take somebody else. She had to pick Charlotte, right, Adam?
Man, I honestly think if we just look up back on this 5 years from now, we could have said it could have been anybody. That's hindsight, and we don't have that hindsight right now. Charlotte's a great choice. Why wouldn't you pick Charlotte? She's a terrific performer, probably the best performer in the division, in my opinion. Just all around, mic skills, ring work, everything. She puts on a great presentation. It's a bummer they couldn't do Becky, because I think that was one of the bigger promoted matches.
It's one I was definitely excited to see, and I'm not a fan of women's wrestling. Now, and Adam, you're going to give me hell for this, but speaking of things I'm not a fan of, we saw more character development in Daniel Bryan in last night's show than what we have in, it seems like a decade, maybe longer. He became interesting again, not just because he's the bearded guy who has reckless abandon, is B-plus player, a little sawed-off midget, a troll, whatever you want to call him, Kane's hemorrhoid, whatever. He needs a hug, I know. We'll move on. But God, was he great last night, right? Before we even got to the main event, he was good. Right, Adam? I mean, you saw the show.
He was absolutely terrific. And I just think superstars, they have peaks and valleys, man. Like you can only be a face for so long until you burn out, and then you got to switch it up. And I think this was that case. I think the fans are getting a little tired of AJ. AJ needs to be put on the back burner just a tad. Do we really want to see Lesnar and AJ again? It was a great match. I don't need to see it 2 years in a row. I think they're just changing it up, and why not Daniel Bryan? The fans love him. Maybe not now, but I'll love him.
No. Jaime, go.
Why Daniel Bryan? Like Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar. You know how Brock Lesnar works. If you want to end Bryan's career for good, unsalvageable, that's who you give Brock Lesnar. But I should have gone with Samoa Joe if I were creative.
Now, I'm glad.
Oh my God. I better get a rebuttal here.
In due time. I'm glad you brought that up, Jaime, because I've thought this long and hard. Vince McMahon has a hatred for all things independent wrestling. What a better way to remove the hemorrhoid that is Daniel Bryan than put him in a match with Brock Lesnar, re-injure himself, and have him finally retire for good. It eliminates all of his problems. Vince McMahon is trying to hurt professional wrestling by putting Daniel Bryan in a match with Brock Lesnar, and it's genius. Let's hear your rebuttal, Adam, since you have a good point.
Okay. Last year, I was just talking about it. AJ, Brock, it happened. Was it not a great match? Dude, it was so entertaining. It was so entertaining that Dave Meltzer gave it 4 stars. So,
Dave Meltzer,
No, just let's finish. I'm not putting a ton of stock into Dave Meltzer, but Dave Meltzer, he can call a good match. He can say when something's good and when it's not. It was 4 stars. I was entertained by it. Now you put Daniel Bryan in there at the same caliber, in my opinion, as AJ Styles, it's going to be good. Brock can still work. He just needs a small body to toss around. They can work. Like just because Brock works stiff doesn't mean Daniel Bryan's just going to get hurt. Daniel Bryan works. He can take it. They're grown men. And I guarantee you, before the match, backstage, Bryan is going to tell Brock, lay it in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do the same.
That's what's going to end Bryan's career.
But
remember how many times did Brock throw stiff elbows on purpose?
Well, I mean, it's just...
But that's a stiff match. That's just a type of match. Like we as fans, I believe that a lot of us, we enjoy that stuff. I like it when it's a little more stiff. I like that Japanese style a little more.
That's what she said. Anyway. No. For one, I stopped listening to you after you said that Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles were on the same level because they're not. No, they're clearly not. No. I'm sorry, but how many world championships has Daniel Bryan won actual world championships, NWA world championships? How many has he won? How many has AJ Styles won?
How many WrestleManias has AJ Styles headlined, main evented? How many?
How many matches?
In like one of the greatest top 3 storylines of all time publicized?
Oh, okay. How many times has AJ Styles lost a world championship in 8 seconds?
But that was before.
No, mic drop. I win. My show. I win. My show. I win.
It is your show.
My show.
Your show. Yes, sir. It is your show.
Speaking of people that have built shows, AJ Styles lost his WWE Championship. Is he hurt? Is that what we're dealing with? Is that why he dropped the title? Is he hurt? Anybody?
No, AJ doesn't seriously get hurt. When was the last time you remember he seriously got hurt? Like a very long layoff.
Nobody knows he was in TNA. Nobody watched it.
Hey.
Oh, we watched it.
TNA is the whole reason the 3 of us came together for this show. We just didn't really... Different story, different time. We'll do our origin story later. We're trying to get Hugh Jackman to do it. We're working on it. Anyway, so AJ Styles isn't hurt then? Is that what we're saying here? That this is just a kayfabe change for no apparent reason other than they want a different main event for Survivor Series?
And they want to spice things up.
Yeah, they need to switch it up. I agree.
It's dumb. It's dumb for dumb's sake. They gave us... How many times have we seen Brock and Braun headlining major pay-per-views? Pay-per-views outside of the U.S. where they're banking on trying to build a new fan base. We have seen the same 2 guys just have terrible matches. And you guys want to sit there and tell me that they're going to take the best wrestler in the world? Nobody can argue any different. They're going to take a world championship off of him just because we want something different from the same people that gave us Brock and Braun 5.
I think they're handcuffed in the Brock and Braun thing right now. I think those 2 names stick out more than anybody. And if they are on the roster, they will be in the title picture no matter what. And I do agree with your point a little bit with AJ still being the best. But, I mean, you just need to cool him off a little bit and let him come back, and the fans will love him even more.
No, that's dumb. Jaime, tell him why he's dumb.
Well, because that's it.
You failed. You failed.
Okay.
You failed. I gave you a chance, like I do every week, Jaime, to just burn somebody, and you fail. You fail. You fail.
I can take it. I'm a grown man.
Barely.
Haven't slept in a while.
You still look like you're 12. Seriously, the dude looks the same way he did, just with facial hair, than he did the first time I met him in his brother's freaking room when he came in to borrow a cell phone charger for an old blue Nokia on the backwoods of County Road. It was just, what was it, County Line Road? That's what that road was called. Yeah. I love that house, by the way. I miss it. I miss being home. But this is home now. All right. Let's switch gears. We've hit our second thing that we bring every damn show, and that's Jaime, give me your fight or match of the show.
I haven't really put some thought into it, but Floyd Mayweather is planning his MMA debut.
You had
Not
2 days.
Sure what happened to the negotiations with that? No, because I had a lot of choices in mind.
And you still didn't pick one.
I said Floyd Mayweather versus a Japanese kickboxer. He plans to go to Japan and promote a fight there for the Ryzen promotion. It's just that.
I'm glad you brought up Floyd Mayweather because we're going to talk about something other than wrestling for just a few seconds. Adam, I know you're not the biggest Rams fan, but you kind of know where things are coming from when your team switches cities, like the Rams did when they left St. Louis. Did you happen to watch that game on Sunday?
The Rams game?
Yeah.
They played the...
I don't remember. It was unimportant. But
I did watch it. Yeah, I did watch it. I just can't remember who it is.
Where they gave Floyd Mayweather, the Rams gave Floyd Mayweather
they gave him the footballs.
3 freaking game balls. Like, seriously? You have people losing their homes. You have people on your team losing your homes. You don't think that maybe those touchdown scoring game balls could be, I don't know, auctioned off to somebody to raise money to help those in need, not given to a billionaire who can't read the name on the damn football? But no.
The NFL just wants more and more money. They don't care about
anybody, anything, people, their own players. Yeah, we're aware. Or a city that had had football for over 60 years and had one team viciously ripped from them by a money-grubbing owner looking for a new stadium, and yet they did it to him again. And this time, they slandered the city when they did it. I'm sorry, Roger Goodell, Stan Kroenke, you better hope I don't see you in a dark alley. Just saying, not gonna be nice.
That's the sports writer coming out of you right there.
All right, we're gonna switch gears and we're gonna play one of my favorite games. It's called This or That. Adam, we're gonna start with you since you are a self-proclaimed wrestling historian. Who plays the better unhinged character, Dean Ambrose or Flying Brian Pillman?
It's Brian Pillman. It's not even close. I find Dean Ambrose to be a hack in the lunatic department. Brian Pillman, you believe that when he and Stone Cold Steve Austin had the gun scene, like, and back then kayfabe was still kind of there, kind of wasn't, but we didn't really know. And I mean, WWE had to apologize to so many people because it was such a real angle, and they actually believed Brian Pillman was a psychopath. It's Brian Pillman.
Well, it got Raw kicked off the air for many different cable providers. It's a huge story. You can read all about it in one of my books on Amazon, but you got to buy them all to figure out which one it's in. Jaime, question to you: Ambrose, Pillman, who's better?
Better lunatic, Brian Pillman. He really looks the part. Like, I'm not sure if you guys see Ambrose the same way, but Ambrose is a pretty face.
I agree.
He's pretty? I mean, I know you're from the Philippines and, the whole thing is a little loosey-goosey with you, but he's pretty?
My.
I know what you say.
Ambrose a pretty face. Like, he could double as a Hollywood celebrity, but For Brian Pillman, he really looks like somebody who escaped a mental institution.
Oh,
That's good. That's good at the end there. I agree.
way to save it, Jaime, because we all thought that we're not going in there. We've been down that road before. Okay, which will be a better match? Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey, or Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey? Jaime, you're up.
I need to give a definitive answer or you're gonna make fun of me, but
That's
let me
absolutely
explain
correct.
first. If you want a wrestling match, it's gonna be Charlotte versus Rousey. But if you want a hard-hitting match, which I like, which will be my answer, it's gonna be Becky versus Rousey.
Okay, so you
You
didn't
want that fight feel.
you didn't give us a answer again.
It's Becky versus Rousey.
Are
That's
you
my
are
answer.
you sure? Because you just made a point for the other one. At the same point, you made a point for that one.
But I told you what I want. I want a fight feel.
It's
brawl.
not what you
So it's
want.
Becky
It's
versus
what will
Rousey.
be better. You gave us another typical Jaime answer where you talk out both sides of your mouth and still say nothing. Adam, same question. Go.
Is that what happens on this show?
All the time. Apparently, he's not one of the 5 listeners either. So, Adam.
Anyway, I'll just go the opposite way. Just because I've already said Charlotte, I think she's the best woman in the division probably ever in wrestling. I don't even think that's really a bold statement anymore. She's just so much more talented than everyone. I think Rousey has the chance to be in the same echelon as her, but not because of her ring work. It's going to be because of who she is and where she came from. But so that's why I think Rousey and Charlotte.
Fair enough. Who had a better low blow on AJ Styles? Shinsuke Nakamura or Daniel Bryan? Adam, you're up.
I like Shinsuke's, man. I thought it was at Mania, big stage, and then they kept playing off of it, and it was great storytelling. Now we don't know if they're going to do that again, but at this point it would be played out, and we would just say, "Oh, they did that. They did that with Nakamura." So
Okay.
the first one's always the best.
Jaime, yes or no? Agree?
No, I don't. Daniel Bryan's is better because his was like it was an act of desperation, but for Nakamura, it seemed like he only had the fascination.
Not gonna make the
He
joke.
only had a fascination.
Not gonna make the joke. Anyway, supplemental question on the same topic. Is AJ Styles now sterile? And if not, how many more nut shots can he take before he loses the ability to procreate?
Jaime, please go.
I don't know. I think these two did him a favor. He already has a lot of kids. Well, he has money for more, but I don't know. He has enough.
Well,
I would say he has a phenomenal chance to have another kid. He's already got 4. Come on, I mean, he can have another one.
I'm kind of sad that this didn't happen in TNA with the whole, Dixie Carter bringing out the illegitimate woman that had the baby that was trying to blackmail him. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Or they could do the Mysterio Guerrero.
Who's your pappy?
Yeah. Hey, Dominic, I got some candy.
Oh my god, that was so great. It was so terrible, but it was amazingly done.
Awesome, man.
Like, how great is Eddie Guerrero? And I know posthumously all the stuff that happened with Vicky, I'm not sure you would have approved of. But still, that whole family has just given so damn much to wrestling.
Dude, I think he would have been fine with it, man. Because it's business, man. And she was really good at her character. It was all a character.
I mean, I don't know, the last guy before Vicky, or how do I want to word this? The last guy that had his main squeeze get kissed by Edge on TV didn't take it too well, and now he's broken.
Oh my!
And that's all we're gonna say about that. All right. Which move would you rather take? The RKO or a 619? Jaime, you're up.
I'm going with the RKO. I don't want to get killed.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Ooh, Jaime, there's yours for the show. Glad to see that's come back. Adam?
That,
Mm,
I agree, and how they
that makes me
you,
uncomfortable.
you couldn't have said it any better ever in a million years.
All right. Last one before we move on. And we're gonna get actually pretty serious about this one. Which was a bigger loss to the WWE? Losing AJ Styles at Survivor Series, or losing Roman Reigns at Survivor Series? Now, before I ask you guys to answer this question, I want it to be known this was back when I wrote this early this morning, kind of half asleep, and I thought AJ may legit be injured. So that's where I was going with that question. But which is a bigger loss for the Survivor Series card? AJ or Roman?
Roman Reigns will always be a loss. He's the top star. It's undeniable. And let's be real, Roman Reigns can put on a good match. He can put on a competitive match. And he's the one who he could believably take Brock Lesnar to his limits compared to AJ. So I believe Roman's the better loss.
Okay.
The bigger loss.
I feel like you're gonna disagree, Adam.
I do, but in a different way. I think if AJ's actually hurt, I think he is the bigger loss. And I'll say this because of a reason for Roman, that being hopefully he does pull through, and when he comes back, the fans will love him. They're just going to love him. It's just like human nature.
I really hope
to do
the
that.
fans love Roman when Roman returns.
How could you not, dude? And a guy who he didn't flash out there that he had leukemia and beat it once. Like nobody ever knew about those kind of things, and now he has to vacate his throne and come back. They're gonna love him. So I think AJ is the bigger loss because if Roman comes back healthy, it's such a win for the WWE. It's such a win.
Yeah. I disagree with both of you, but I can't. There's too much there for me to go into, and I've had a hell of a day. All right, let's take a break because now we're going to talk about something that's actually going to make me some money, and that is our official line of Caps Locks and Chair Shots merchandise. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We offer T-shirts, we offer vinyl decals, we even offer trucker hats. You just get a hold of myself, Dan, or Jaime on Twitter, and they will put you in touch with me so we can get your order processed. We haven't set up prices yet because, honestly, we haven't gotten an order yet. But if you would like an official Caps Locks and Chair Shots t-shirt, vinyl decal, or trucker hat, get a hold of one of us on Twitter. You can find all of our Twitter accounts at the end of the show when we pimp ourselves. So if you want some exclusive merch, come find us. All right.
I might get one.
Hey, the more the merrier.
I might get a hat.
No, you want a t-shirt. Believe me, you want a
You
t-shirt.
get the sticker. You want the sticker.
Oh, yeah, you can also put that on your favorite vehicle, laptop, or flat surface device. That's vinyl stickers made for the Caps Locks and Chair Shots show. All right, enough with the commercial. My question, and Adam, you kind of brought it up earlier, is Survivor Series one of the big four still? Yes or no? Adam, since you brought it up, the floor is yours.
To me, like technically, yeah, because the historian in me, it was like the second pay-per-view ever, so I like to think so. But I think everybody would kind of say that Money in the Bank has passed it up, like fan-wise and what they put on display.
Well, I agree.
Survivor Series just seems so thrown together the past few years because it's the dead months, man.
That's true. Although it could be argued, it is the driveway that leads to the road to WrestleMania. So, Jaime, say something.
Yes, it still is and should be considered a big four because first and foremost, tradition, and second, it's just they just need to make it a little bit more interesting again. Like remember back in the day when it was like the stakes were like jobs on the line or control of the show. They have to bring that back instead of just putting people and letting them
Instead
have
of
a match.
who wins. Yeah, instead of who wins. Like, who cares who wins? There's nothing to win. Like, you just win. Well, you win pride? Fans don't care.
That's, yeah, kinda. I mean,
With a 2-week build, fans aren't going to care.
well, to be fair, this would have had a 6-week build, except there was a trip to Saudi Arabia, and then to make up for that, they had to go to Australia. It's just, I haven't cared about Survivor Series in a decade, maybe?
No. 2016, Goldberg and Lesnar, you didn't like that?
No, because I saw it.
That was such a shocking moment, man. It was good. It was well done.
I saw it before, and even Stone Cold Steve Austin couldn't save it at WrestleMania. I didn't care about it then. I didn't care about it in 2016.
Nah, that's crazy, man. It was good.
I stopped caring about Goldberg in February of 2001.
It's nostalgia, man, and they just keep going with the nostalgia, but they need to slow it down sooner or later. Shawn Michaels and Triple H are gonna tear some more pecs and break noses and stuff.
I am so glad we had absolutely no coverage of that show because I didn't watch it live. I watched it a week later, and I was disgusted. I felt like I wasted my time. Let's changing gears, switching gears, whatever you want to call it. With the WWE having lost 3 of their 4 main roster champions in the last, let's say, 6 weeks, Survivor Series, I think, could have been a B+. Solid C, right? Maybe C-? Yes, at best.
Yeah, I'll give it a C-, and that could even go to D.
Okay, fair enough.
We just talk about like the card in general.
Anything. What do you think Survivor Series is going to wind up being?
I mean,
Regular event
could end up being an F. Could be a B- at its ceiling.
Okay.
Depends where they go. It depends if they develop the storylines or if they put so much focus into the SmackDown versus Raw, which nobody cares about. So,
okay, fair enough. We're running out of time. We've still got a few more things to cover. Let's talk about NXT TakeOver. My favorite TakeOver last year was War Games. This card looks like it could be my favorite TakeOver this year. We have Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane. Jaime, I know you're all over this one because you love both women, right?
I love Kairi Sane.
Okay. Fair enough. Give me a winner. Who wins, Jaime? I'm
going with Shayna Baszler. Kairi Sane's going up soon.
Hey, maybe even the following night. They do need that 5th person. Adam, the
Exactly.
Undisputed Era is in War Games again. Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong will take on Pete Dunne, Ricochet, and the War Raiders of Hanson and Rowe. Give me a winner. Who do you got?
It's Undisputed Era. It's not. I mean, it's gonna be a heck of a match. It's gonna be awesome, just like last year. But Undisputed Era, they have to go over. They are NXT, except for Tommaso Ciampa.
Well, now we're gonna get to them here in a minute. How long until we see the Undisputed Era on the main roster? Are they?
Wow.
Are we gonna see them maybe the Monday after Mania? Do they make an appearance at the Royal Rumble?
No, they got a year or two. Adam Cole's gonna be champion at some point.
A year?
Over, probably.
I thought Adam Cole should have been on the main roster last year.
Dude, he's good enough. I mean, he's more than good enough. I'm not saying I love Adam Cole. It's just they need they need people in NXT, and I mean he can be the face for a while. They have the roster's so built up on WWE anyway. You can't get anybody on the cards anyway these days. So keep him active.
Yeah, but
I mean, also, I don't think Triple H would want to give any of these 4 guys from the Undisputed Era too soon because they're the moneymakers for NXT. Definitely, especially with Adam Cole there.
Yeah.
That's true, but, I mean, the NXT roster's not exactly skimpy on talent either. There's a lot of, I mean,
I think
NXT,
they're more skimpy than they have been in the past.
well, injuries dictate that, but you look at the NXT roster, and I've been a champion for this forever. NXT needs to be a bona fide third brand, and the time slot they have 205 Live for, they need to rebrand that as the Performance Center and let the brand new up and comers and the guys that are still learning the WWE style, let them go there. But Aleister Black, Johnny Gargano, Velveteen Dream, Ciampa, Cole, EC3, Pete Dunne, Ricochet, they all deserve headline spots on a big show because these guys aren't just random dudes that have been pulled off the street because, hey, you got big pecs. We think you can wrestle. These guys can go and have gone around the world and sold out arenas. They don't need to be playing in the minor leagues, even if they are playing in the minor leagues of the biggest league there is.
I mean,
But I feel like, but I feel like what's stopping them from actually making NXT a third brand is the fear that it would, lessen the value of Raw and SmackDown. Like everyone's going to watch, everyone's going to put their money on NXT, and nothing's going to be left for Raw and SmackDown.
Okay, look, SmackDown is going to Fox in February. USA is going to have a 2-hour block on Tuesday that's going to be open. The WWE still has that time slot. There's NXT. It makes sense, right?
But I think they also, and this is just from a business sense, I think they also want to direct viewers to the network, and that's why they have NXT on there to provide some sort of live programming wrestling-wise still. And that's just my mindset on that. But if I could go back just a tad, if they made NXT a third brand, I feel like it would. NXT's kind of looked at as like rookies almost, and it would devalue them because they would just be looked at a rookie, and the viewers, the fans, they would just always consider them rookies at that point, and it wouldn't help them because not everybody watches NXT, man. I'm telling you, I love NXT and I watch it, but not everybody does, and I just feel like they would be devalued.
I'm just saying, you look at the names that are on the NXT roster. A lot of these guys still have big name capabilities.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
The casual wrestling fan knows who Adam Cole is. They know who EC3 is, whether they were a WWE fan when he was Derek Bateman in NXT years ago, or whether they may have found TNA or Impact or whatever they want to call it under its different show. It's a different show. But everybody knows who EC3 is. Maybe some of the casual fans might not know Roderick Strong or Tommaso Ciampa or whatever, or Aleister Black or the Velveteen Dream, but there's still enough name power on there that you could make it equal to SmackDown and equal to Raw.
It kind of is. They still put on big productions. They just don't do it every week that big a scale. They do the same pay-per-view scales.
I want to go back to something you said, too. They want NXT to stay on the WWE Network because they want real wrestling on the WWE Network. Don't they have 205 Live there? How well has that worked for them? Because let me tell you, people watch 205 Live.
It's just overload is my problem with it. Like, I would watch it if that was the only thing on in a week. Like, give me 205 Live, I'm sure we'd love it, but it's just overload of wrestling, and not everybody can watch all that, man.
I'm just saying, the WWE can use a rebrand. NXT goes in the SmackDown time slot, SmackDown moves to Friday night, and you have this 205 Live thing. Let's do away with it. The Cruiserweight Champion just floats, all 3 shows. Let's bring back Velocity. I've been saying this for years. I mean, how long have I been saying this?
Yeah.
Bring back Velocity. Or even Sunday Night Heat.
Sunday Night Heat.
Thank you.
I'd be down for that. I'd be down for Sunday. But that's a time slot that they would need to buy. That's business. Like,
put it on the network.
It can't just be, okay, fair. They do the pre-show. It's the same thing. They would just rename it and it'd be the same thing.
I said full rebrand, didn't I?
That's not a full rebrand if you just do the name. They would do the same thing.
You just said the WWE is huge with nostalgia pops. Welcome to have Michael Cole and Kevin Kelly buy him out of whatever contract he's with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Have them do Sunday Night Heat. Maybe bring in Taz because, that radio show in New York, I'm sure he loves so much. Put him back in the wrestling booth. Put him with Michael Cole. Bring back some stuff. I'm just saying it'll work. I'd be totally stoked to hear the heartbeat again.
It'd work for a month.
That's all I want. Just a month to keep reliving. Anyway, we're running out of time. So, I'm going to give you my what to watch for. And the what to watch for will be the overall decimation of the AFC North by the Cleveland Browns. Hugh Jackson's gone. The sun is shining again in Cleveland. Corey Kluber got screwed out of a Cy Young. The Indians, they're always going to win the Central and do nothing more. But there's hope for the Browns. The Cavaliers are going to be terrible. They may get the first overall pick, and I hope they do. Just so Kevin Love can get hurt and not play through injuries and look like a 50-year-old man. But there's hope in Cleveland. Hugh Jackson's gone. Baker Mayfield, the savior of the Browns, is here. Nick Chubb can run. All is well. They've won 3 games. We could win 5. My heart sings. My heart sings. All right, let's wrap this show up. Let's talk a little bit about ourselves. Jaime, what's going on with you?
Right now, I'm still training to be a pro wrestler. Hopefully, it pans out. I still continue writing for multiple avenues. I've expanded into vlogging, but right now I'm trying to hit the locals. So I'm speaking it in my own language up until I get enough following to go all English.
Well,
that's pretty much it.
Would you like to speak to your people in their native tongue?
No.
I didn't think so.
Keep it all English for this.
Oh, man. Once again, another joke just flying along, and here comes Jaime with a big-ass shotgun. Anyway, Adam, tell me about your life.
Man, life's alright. No, I can't complain. I'm a teacher, so the everyday grind of teaching is what it is, but I enjoy it. History's my thing. I'm a history teacher. It's gonna snow here a lot, and we might not have school tomorrow, so that's sweet.
Yeah, we're getting the same storm you are, just 500 miles away.
And one last thing.
Hold on. We got it coming. We got one big thing to come after I talk a little bit about myself. Is it about your personal life? If it's about your personal life, you can go.
Nope, you're good.
Fair enough. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're ever in southeastern Ohio and you happen to come across Noble County, be sure to pick up a copy of the Journal and Noble County Leader, where you can turn to page 9 and 10 and read some of the greatest sports writing you'll ever see covering prep sports from Shenandoah and Caldwell High School. That is done by yours truly. And once a month, we give out a free magazine called Crossroads. It'll have all the informational stuff you need to get through a dentist appointment. You can turn to the back pages of that, and you can see my famous Ohioans in sports. And for the December issue, it is the man who would have had a birthday tomorrow, and that's Randy Poffo. You may know him as the Macho Man, Randy Savage. You can also find me right here on the Cap Flex Chair Shots podcast. Also, I have now 4 books on Amazon. The most recent one actually just went up yesterday, and it is a short children's book written for my son, written and illustrated by myself about dragons. So if you want a little bit of a short story for only $3.99 on Amazon, it is not an ebook. You have to buy it physically. You can go to Amazon.com, put in my name, and you will find all of my written works. All right, guys. Let's wrap things up with our parting shots. Adam, since you were so excited, give me your parting shot before we end the show.
I just have a couple shout-outs. Larry, I don't know how to say his last name exactly, Matisic, I believe it is. He lives in Belleville, Illinois, and the last I've heard, he's actually pretty sick right now, but he's an old school promoter from St. Louis. He did like Wrestling at the Chase and stuff, and he's wrote a lot of books, and I read one, the top 50 professional wrestlers of all time. It's a great read, and I just finished it today. It's phenomenal. I hope Larry's good because, I just love reading his stuff.
Oh yeah, it's I believe it's Matusik, and he actually did one, and I think I've actually lost it. But it talks about the origins of the NWA and the role that Luthez and Sam Muchnick out of the St. Louis Wrestling Club actually played a role in making the NWA what it was, and ultimately leading to its downfall. So be sure to check that out.
Was their president.
Oh yeah, it's a big thing. Adam, me and you were gonna talk after the show is over. Jaime, give me your parting shot.
Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube at the Great JLA. JLA, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hey.
That's
right.
ad space every time.
My parting shot is, guys, I need all 5 of you that are listening, or 4, depending if Adam re-listens to this. Support Impact Wrestling, because if you don't, we have no alternative. I am not staying up until 11 o'clock or midnight on Saturday nights to watch Ring of Honor. I damn sure am not going to go on the internet and pay to get Fight TV or whatever else so I can watch the MLW, because we all know how much I love my indie wrestling. Anyway, support Impact. They need your help. For just pennies a day, you can buy a cable subscription, and you can support Impact Wrestling on Pop TV. They need you. Adopt Impact Wrestling. I feel like
Impact.
I feel like Sarah McLachlan should be playing in the background while we're just watching, AJ Styles and Samoa Joe and Bobby Roode just crying as they're walking in and out of the ring. This video needs to be made.
You got to play the Titanic song. Everything through with the Titanic.
No, it's the Sarah McLachlan song. What? Arms of an Angel. That's the song that needs to play. That you always see in the ASPCA commercials, where it's the dogs that look just absolutely grotesque, where somebody decided they would rather hold a camera than help this poor defenseless animal. But that's we got to stay focused.
We digress.
And speaking of staying focused, we've completely lost ours, so we're going to end the show right now. So, for all of you that are out there listening, and for those of you who aren't watching because we aren't on Twitch TV today, we'd like to thank you all. And as always, if you're not down with the Caps, Locks, and Chair Shots podcast, we got 2 words for you. Keep listening.